Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 3, episode 2 of Ask Us Anything About LinkedIn. You may have noticed that we're once again in a slightly different lineup. It's me, Alex, and Elena, who is a new addition to our team. She's a senior graphic designer, and you'll get to meet her, you'll get to hear more about her, and you'll get to hear about more about her professional opinions on the platform. But before anything else, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone that is not here today, and namely Teddy, who is a mentor in Teenovator. So this is a day where she'll be getting to know, I think, exactly what she'll be doing. Maybe she'll get to meet her mentee. So we hope everything goes amazing for her. And then a shout out to the person that's usually in this role, opening up and presenting, who is Didi. Her and Emo, I think, are currently in Boutique, where they are attending a conference. So good luck to Didi, good luck to Emo. We know they'll rock it. And as for today, I'm Daria. I'm doing the opening, and we'll be discussing 3 different topics. Most of them have to do with recent news that have emerged here on LinkedIn. So, Alex will be talking about a recent development when it comes to, he's shushing me over here, he wants to share it himself. So, I'll
Yeah,
let
since
him.
it was a better price for all of us, so let's break it a couple of minutes later. I really love interrupting
Yeah.
all of you, but yeah.
Hi
Yep.
all.
Okay. So, I will be um, starting us off then with a bit of a talk that doesn't have to do so much with recent news as much as it has to do with some of the I wouldn't call it exactly basic because I don't think a lot of people are familiar with it, or as many people as it should be, but we are going to be talking about advertising on LinkedIn a little bit. And what I will be talking about is, first of all, why should we do it? What is special about advertising on LinkedIn? So I think, especially with the new European data protection law, we're talking a lot about ads and our data. But the truth is, on Facebook, on Instagram, on all these different platforms, we should be entitled to our privacy, of course. But LinkedIn is the biggest professional platform. And naturally, when you come on here, you share your job title, you share the company that you work with, you share your experience because that's something you want to show off. Because here you're in this platform to really connect with others, whether it's for business, whether you want to be better informed for your overall industry. So that's why each profile contains a lot of very, very valuable information. And it is information that the users have naturally decided to put up because it's for their benefit. And that benefit in itself carries across LinkedIn ads. So when you're doing ads on LinkedIn, what is really, really great is that you can target your users in a very deliberate fashion. And yes, you can, structure your audiences by giving criteria. You can tell, the seniority, the industry, the company size, all of these different basically guidelines that you can structure who you're targeting your ad towards. But another really, really valuable feature is you can upload your own audiences onto the platform. And right now, I think maybe in a couple of seconds, you will be able to see my screen. And where I'm at is, of course, the campaign manager for LinkedIn ads, and I'm in the audiences platform exactly. So this is where you can create a list, so to speak. You can create an audience And you can also see here we have a couple ones that we are using as well. So, creating an audience, there are a few simple steps. Let's start with the very, very obvious button over there. So, you have matched audiences and predictive audiences. Predictive audiences, I will not touch upon so detailed this time around. Very simply explained, a predictive audience is an audience um, where already you have a data and you want to build up a similar data set to the ones that you already have. What I will be really touching upon is matched audiences. And matched audiences are where you yourself have some data and you want to use it to really target specific companies or people on LinkedIn. So I will click and you can see choose a matched audience source. So basically, if it is your first time, so to say, or if it's a completely new campaign you're starting off on, maybe what you'd like to do is use a company or a contact list. So those are the two main ones that you can do. Let's just name this test and September 2024. It's good to label things. Uh, it's good to name things accordingly so you can recognize them, especially if you have a lot of lists. So here I am choosing a contact list. And as you can see, LinkedIn actually has a template, and it is very, very important to use that template. It is going to open up for me, and I will accordingly open it up for you. Right now, it's just a completely empty one, and you can see that they have input some test info. So first of all, you have the email column, you have a first name, a last name, a job title, employee company, country, and a Google ID. So it may seem daunting, but basically, you don't have to fill in absolutely everything. But at least either the first and the last name or the email, you do have to have them on there. And most of all, you have to really match your own lists to basically this template. You need to take your information and you need to input it over here. Oh, I managed to misclick. So sorry about that. I will reopen it once again. As always, with share screening and text, sometimes things go wrong. Um, so you may think, how do I make use of this? Do I actually have the information I need? If you're working for a big company, chances are, your sales team most likely does have a list of names that they have collected. It may not look exactly like this, so maybe you don't have all of this information, especially, a Google ID. It's not very common to have. But for the most part, you will have the name of the person, the first name, the last name. You'll have their company, most likely. So we advise you really, even if you think you don't have all these columns filled up, as long as you have the name, as long as you have the company, or maybe the email, you will be able to do something with this. Um, One extra tip that we can give is LinkedIn will really track the company, the email that your LinkedIn account is connected to. And naturally, a lot of people actually don't connect. It's naturally, but it's also sadly, sometimes they use their personal email address to create their LinkedIn profile. So if it's the only email address connected to their LinkedIn profile, maybe you won't be able to find them through their professional email. So that's a slight tip to give out. Uh, and another one is, we're talking in English, but a lot of our audience is from Bulgaria. if you have the name written out in Cyrillic or maybe in another language, Chinese, Korean, Arabic, basically an alphabet that's not the Latin one, you may want to source, or more like you must source those names in the Latin alphabet, as that is how they appear on LinkedIn. So yeah, really look out for that the company name as well as the first and the last name of the person are in the Latin alphabet, and they're spelled correctly, hopefully. And look out so that you really just use this template and you fill out this template with the information that you have.
Dari,
Um,
if you allow me a question, uh, what are the key differences between contact lists and company lists, and which one do you prefer using?
So the key difference between a contact list and then a company list, as you may have inferred from the name, with a contact list, basically you are targeting a specific person. With a company list, you're targeting a whole company and all of their employees. So right now I started off with the contact list, but actually what I personally prefer is the company list, because through a company list, targeting the whole company, you have better chances at building up a wider and a larger audience. And obviously, for ads, that is something important.
Yeah,
Uh,
how do we make sure that we're targeting the right people we need to talk to in a certain company? Which filters do you prefer?
In terms of filters, obviously, I think you have to go for decision makers. So the job function title is something that I do prefer and I do reach out to a lot. So a lot of the times people do give you, it's the sales managers, or there are, the people in managerial positions and decision maker positions. But if you don't have the job title, then that is something that you might want to use. You might want to really target the sales positions or the decision makers within a company. It depends, of course, on the size of the company in terms of who those decision makers are, but that is what you want to go for.
Yeah, a good combination is functions combined with job seniority in order to really make sure that you're targeting exactly the decision makers, not sales trainees, etc. Uh, okay, can we see those differences you already mentioned between the company list and the contact list?
Yep, of course. So I will once again come on over here. Uh, Here is a company list, basically how you would upload a company list. As you can see, the same exact screen, you just choose company list. Once again, you do have the template that you can simply download and that you should be using to get your info into. So as you can see, this template, you have, it is a lot more detailed, but once again, don't let that daunt you. So you have the company name, the company website, the email domain of the company, the LinkedIn company page URL, and stock symbol, industry, city, state, country, zip code. So you could see that I sort of breeze through the last few. That's because a lot of the times, I would say, except for the company country, we don't actually have them. Sometimes you also have a city, but and an industry, but especially when it comes to zip codes, stock symbols, uncommon information to have. So I'm starting off with the disclaimer here once again. As long as you have the company name, then you will be able to upload that list and to search for something. But preferably, you have the company name, the company URL on LinkedIn, and if you have the website and the email domain as well, that is amazing. So to showcase something that we've done, where once again we don't have the full information, but it's a list that has worked for us. You can see this is a list from Central and Eastern European startups. So they're taken from a report in April 2024. And you can see here, we've only really input the LinkedIn company page URL. That is still going to work, absolutely. But of course, the more information over here you can fill out, then the more precise the audience that you are targeting. So we do advise you, get as much information as you can. And once again, the things that I mentioned before, so make sure it is the Latin alphabet, make sure things are correctly, um, are in the correct language, of course, but, correctly spelled out. Don't have extra spaces, don't have extra sort of like, commas or dots. You really need to look out for these sort of small details sometimes, especially when you're transferring from one list into the other. So, cleaning out those little things. Um, and also, what I recently realized for the company email domain, sometimes when you're transferring from a personal list, the email that you get, that is a bit more in terms of the contact list. So I'm pulling back a bit. But in terms of emails from the contact list, what I forgot to tell you, a lot of times people will give you, you know, platforms such as Gmail, such as Abave or Yahoo or things like that. So do look out for them, both in the both when you're filling out this column over here and when you're filling out the contact list as well. And what I can also basically tell you is that you do have, according to LinkedIn, a minimum amount of information that you have to input. So for both the contact list as well as the company list, preferably you will gather an audience of at least 300 people. So that may seem daunting, that may seem like a lot, and we do encourage you to still try, even if you don't think it's going to fill up to that extent. Um, and what I can also tell you is that basically it may seem, yes, especially daunting, but your sales team may have more information than you think. Also, sometimes, you're visiting exhibitions, and on those exhibitions, you're not necessarily meeting people that are your competitors. Sometimes you're meeting other companies that you want to connect with, that you want to make partnerships with, that maybe you want to sell your service to. When you are attending an exhibition, and you want to meet as much of the people there as possible, one thing that you can do, and one thing that we do for our clients, is we go onto the website of a certain exhibition, and then we collect data from there. And obviously, big exhibitions, they have a lot of data on the companies that are attending. We clean that data up according to this table, and we input it, and we run ads based on these exhibitions. And it's not necessary for you even to be attending that exhibition. What you can do is, maybe gather a list of everything that you have attended, or that you will attend. And let's say if the website itself has a way to narrow it down to companies that you want to sell your services to, do that. If not, take out all the data anyways. Try to really form it according to this list. Try to, maybe if you have the time, weed out the correct industry that you're looking for, the correct type of company you're looking for, and input it here. In this way, even if you don't have a dedicated sales team, even if you haven't collected information, for example, for email marketing, you can still use this function. You can still upload lists. You can still use them, and you can still target people. So a lot of the times, you get data from places that you haven't necessarily thought of, even outside of your own capabilities and the data that you've collected. So I will also do basically a very simple show in terms of uploading the list. So you can see from select list, you basically do the file. This was the file that we were looking at up until now, and it is a file that uses the template provided from LinkedIn. Once again, a small reminder over here, you can get the template. And another important reminder, it can take, and it usually takes up to 2 days or 48 hours, sometimes longer, for that audience to be processed and delivered. That is not always the case though, and me and Alex will discuss it because we had some anomalies recently. But basically,
Ari,
after,
yeah,
yep.
uh, we see the green message, which is a good news, of course. Uh, that means the formatting is great. When do we receive the negative message for an error, like a red one?
You would basically see a negative message if you are, using your own data, like all of the rows on top that I showed from their template. So even if you don't have all the required info, you do need to have all of those rows on there. You need to follow the exact formatting that LinkedIn has provided for you. That's one chance of you seeing an error. Another chance is I mentioned if the data you're inputting is in a completely different language that does not use the Latin alphabet. If you have too little data as well, a red message may pop up. And last but not least, the devil is in the details. I think Emil, who loves proverbs, would appreciate me using that one. You can see this is a CSV file. So a lot of the times when we have those tables, they're in Excel, so they're not a CSV file naturally. You don't think of saving it sometimes into a CSV file. Make sure you do that. If it's not a CSV file, you won't get it on the platform.
Yeah, let's see the magic.
Yep. So as you can see, agree and upload. It is going to load for a little bit. Okay, that was even faster than I thought. And you can see it over here. Test September 2024. The status is still currently building. It's showing you that it's a company list. And basically, after those supposed 48 hours over here, it will give you a match rate. So, how much of that list was detected by LinkedIn? You can see over here we had quite good match rates for the past ones that we've done, the several ones. So 85%, 90%. But there is an off chance that you get a low match rate. Right now, I can't exactly demonstrate, but if it's below 50% or even below 30%, something like that, you might want to look into your list again. You are looking ideally at, a match rate of 60% or above, 80%, 90% ideally. And over here, you will also see how many members the list contains. So, as I mentioned, in terms of company lists, a lot of the times, because it's targeting a whole company, you will get a lot of members, sometimes even more than you expected.
Dari, how will this list look when it's already uh, updated and processed by LinkedIn?
When it is already updated and processed, we are very smartly using a test that we've already uploaded ourselves. So I can show you the actual list that I just uploaded, already ready for usage. As you can see, it was a successful match, even though we had just the emails on there. So it was over 90%. And you will be able to see basically the companies from that list and their engagement level, how many members were targeted from over there, and basically how they've engaged not only with the ads that you've put out, but also organically. So just content from your page that they have come across. You can sort it by engagement level, which does usually make the most sense. But what we do advise you is to also, scroll all the way down. Sometimes the platform does show slightly inaccurate results, sadly. So you do want to yeah, make sure you've gone through everything until over here you really have no data showing.
Are there any details where we can look to see whether those companies are the right ones we need? The companies that LinkedIn have detected and matched with our lists? What do you
Uh,
personally look first when a list is processed?
so when a list is processed, what you will immediately, you'll have their logo. You also have a link to the company page itself. So I will open one to show just how quick it is and that it does open in a new tab. It may seem a bit tedious, but if you know that, for example, you're looking at a list where companies are mostly supposed to be on the engineering side, or they're supposed to be companies that have to do with the aviation industry, sometimes when you're looking through this list, you immediately see names that stand out because they're names that you know of, or they're just not something that you've expected in any shape, way, or form. So simply click on the company that you sort of have your doubts about and open up the page. You will see exactly which page is being targeted. In this case, it is the correct one that we want to target. But in the case that it is not, you can edit the list and you can take that company out.
Okay, uh, Ellie, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I just have some issues with my headphones just now. So if you
Yeah,
give me some,
yeah, we
do
hear
you
you
hear me?
perfectly.
What? Excuse me. Do you hear me? Because
Yeah,
I
we
just
hear
lost.
you perfectly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Well, hello everyone. My name is Elena. I'm a new addition to the team. I have been in the company in BookMark for a bit over 1 month, and it's great to have such an opportunity to work with these professionals. So, yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. And
What we
today,
love with the
I don't
way
hear you.
you don't.
Do I have to hear you?
Yeah, of
Because
course. Dari, do you?
technical difficulties.
Yeah. Uh,
Sorry.
okay,
Just give me a second.
let's switch to me and Dari.
Sorry.
Are you here now, or are we here with you now?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
great. Okay, so what we love with the way you joined our team is that you, in fact, even before you were active on LinkedIn, and you were sharing really, really useful um, content regarding design and UX, etc. So, what do you have for us today?
Today, I want to talk about the new LinkedIn feature that is at least new for Bulgarian audiences. That is um, the new video feed. I guess it's rolled out in different times for different countries, but in Bulgaria, it's rolling out right now, and almost everyone from the team has it already. Uh, it's uh, it's of course similar. It's a TikTok style scroll video feed, and it has its own tabs in the UI of the app. But of course, because it's on LinkedIn, I suppose they have taken extra care and have waited a bit to roll it out to tailor it to LinkedIn specifically, because in on LinkedIn it is. It's a different type of platform, so it's not just about entertaining. Of course, that's a core feature of the video feed, but it's about conveying professional messages in dynamic ways for your specific audiences, so you can tailor it to your needs and make it more professional. companies and professionals can engage more deeply with their audience in such way because videos provide extra, so it engages more of the audience's senses. So it's sound and visually, etc., and so on. So, for you as a person who is working in a company or individual who is working for yourself to showcase yourself, uh, especially for companies, it's a great way to showcase a company in a better light, to show how a company looks and feels. And that's something significant for Bulgarian companies in particular too, because that's the news for us. What is similar? Yeah, what is similar for with other social media platforms? It's that the video is vertical, of course. It content should be relatively short and engaging, although well, from what I hear it's longer on LinkedIn because of course people there are more data oriented in a way. They want to know, to they're keen on listening more, and maybe many of the professionals on LinkedIn aren't sitting on TikTok or on Instagram, so they are more likely to engage longer with the content. That's just my speculations, but I noticed some data. Some people are already gathering some data, and they say that the median time of video length is around 1 minute. So that's way longer than other platforms, especially TikTok, of course. And what's specific for LinkedIn for now, what we notice is that the headlines and titles, well, that's not specific actually. No, what's specific is captions. So they say that captions are crucial, and creators and companies are using larger fonts than the LinkedIn native captions, which are smaller. They're just abandoning the captions, I guess, and the style of captions. And headlines or titles, of course, the so-called in marketing hooks that convey the video message and the video's purpose. So users, when they open the app, they quickly understand from a headline what's the purpose of the video. That these are essential for the video. And what's different on LinkedIn is that, of course, the video content you'll see most likely will focus more on the business, on learning, on career development content. And of course, educational content. Always when you post something online, you think about how to be of service to others. And because LinkedIn is a professional platform, you're thinking about how to be of service to your either professional potential clients or your future employees that are looking at your company's profile and understanding, and trying to understand what's the company culture, what are people working there like, etc., etc. And this is a good moment to say that, of course, when you produce this type of content, you want to make it align with your company's values and brand guidelines, if you have any, but of course you should have some. So vision, values, brand guidelines, everything that comprises your company's look and feel. This is now, because up until then you're probably posting visual content and words, so it's like text and words, and now you're engaging your audience and your, of course, potential employees in clients in a very cohesive way that's comprises sound, text, speech, and visual elements. And of course, on LinkedIn, a lot of the content is focused on people's faces, so you'll see a lot of professionals talking in front of the camera. That's something that's very specific for LinkedIn in particular, because um, actually people's faces are engaging on their own. And when the professional content is shared, people like to see other people explaining to them, like people who content creators who look credible and know that what they're talking about talk to them. So what I wanted to say in short is that visual language is very important, and you want to develop, have some sort of a strategy on where you're going with your feed and so on. Of course, video content requires more resources, so you have to allocate either for your company or for yourself. You have to allocate your resources for that, and you have to have a strategy for that too, because it's not. Of course, as is with everything else, it's not just similarly to crafting a post on social media. You think that you'll just post some image or and that will be it, and you just write your thoughts, and of course when you start working on it, you realize that a lot of hours are funneled into trying to convey what you want to say, and you have to understand what you want to say, and you realize that maybe you don't know what you want to say. Again, with educational content, again, you have to have structure, etc., etc., and that's something that, of course, is very
Ellie,
important.
Ellie, are there any, let's say, elements as part of the graphic design that are a must on every LinkedIn video?
Again, I guess the captions are a must, because somebody said so. I mean, I read online that a lot of, like, a good, what was it, like 90% of the videos were with captions. So I guess that's a must. And large captions. So um, it's important actually to try to think in UX terms, think about everyone. So some people won't be able to hear the video, so of course a lot of people maybe won't be able to hear the video because they're at work, or they don't have headphones or something like that. So you want to use captions that are visible and well made with whatever tool you have with you can work with. Um, so yeah, captions maybe, and again, that's it. If you're a company, you want to probably use your company's brand guidelines and repurpose them that you already have, and you repurpose them if you don't have guidelines for social media specifically. And that's it. Although I must add that in the studies I saw, like, individual users just studying their own feeds, so I can't speak if that's actually really relevant and will be relevant in the future. But right now company profiles are having less engagement, so you have to when you post, it's better maybe to post from personal account, but that's something that actually is not in my lane, so I shouldn't you know talk about. Dari may say something about it, because I don't know.
Yeah, Dari, anything to add?
Should
Um,
we? Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm actually not one of the most active users, or as active as I should be on my personal page. But yeah, in terms of video content, as Ellie said, a lot of the times you are talking about content creators themselves, about people's faces. And we did read together that a very small study, basically on how the new video content is faring along. And while it's still uncertain to say whether there are definitive differences between, a company page posting and a personal page posting videos, I would say definitely, if you are a creator that stands behind a company, try to balance it out. Try to have something for your own personal brand and for the things that you specialize in, but also, try to create video content for your company page as well.
Yes.
At least that's my thoughts on it. So maybe Alex has something to
Yeah.
share as well.
Uh, yeah, I have, of course, but what I'm seeing here is I am the one who is working with the graphic studio we're using for this live stream. And of course, cheers to everyone who is listening to us on their preferred podcast platform. But I'm seeing here a couple of messages from our last editions. Uh, Regarding video challenges. So the first one reads, Emo challenged Teddy and Alex to create at least one video monthly. And I'm doing really okay with this challenge. So it's fine. Of course, um, we'll be seeing the results and how behaviors change, just like Ellie mentioned. Uh, and I guess it's my turn. So Dari, take the stage as a host. I know you like it. We like it as well. So it's up to you.
Yeah. If you guys have forgotten the very beginning where I tried to spoil what Alex will be talking about, I'm taking the center stage again. So those of us that know us, those of us that have worked with us may know that there is a feature in LinkedIn that we really like and that we think is underrated, and it is the My Company page. And sadly, there have been some news around it recently and some very unfortunate ones. So, yeah, I will let Alex take center stage and basically do the announcement and share his thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to smile, even though I really like talking to all of you. And of course, I would uh, try to inspire you to ask us anything about LinkedIn. So if you have any questions, any topics that you'd like us to cover today, we have about 15 minutes more. So ping us in the comments. Well, the bad news, and it's I don't know. I think it's really illogical. Probably it's based on some hard data that LinkedIn already have on the use of the feature, is that LinkedIn are sunsetting the My Company tab. And I don't know, maybe some of you are not aware of the My Company tab. It's a feature LinkedIn presented a few years ago, a tool to help companies engage their employees. It's a tool that is basically a substitution of their former external feature, external service called LinkedIn Elevate, uh, that they used to sell to companies, but they embedded it into company pages, and you can see there is a notice that we're about to look at, but the My Company tab is let's say a secret place for company employees, uh, for companies with over 10 employees. Of course, this should be stated on the page as well. Um, and every employee who visits the page, the first thing they see, or at least it used to be like that, it's no longer the case. And yeah, I had some gut feeling about this a couple of weeks ago when I started visiting the BookMark page as a member, and it no longer redirected me to the My Company tab, which was something strange happening. So when you visit the My Company tab, to see anything, you should be an employee, meaning that the company page, the official company page, should be connected to your profile. in the experience section. When you enter the My Company tab, you see some internal information about people who have recently joined the company, colleagues who have been recently promoted or have some sort of anniversaries. You also currently see recommendations from the company page admins, and recommendations means content that someone's prepared for you, and you can just click start the post and everything is done for you. You should just click. You can, of course. You shouldn't. You should. For less than a couple of months, personalize the message you want to share to your own audience or the people who follow you and your contacts. But this was really a piece of a cake. And I click discard. We'll no longer be able to use it. Trending coworker content, plus coworkers you may know, those people like probably wrongfully connected their page, their personal profiles to our page. So we're about to report them. Yeah, it's okay, and it's something that you should do because when someone's connected to the company, they obviously see additional data, not the one who is just public to all other members. So there is a message stating that LinkedIn are removing the My Company tab, and of course, companies will be able to access and use the tab until it's removed in November. And there is a I don't know, maybe not really useful article in the help section. So the case here is that many companies used to use the My Company tab, and they probably will keep using it until it's removed in November to engage their employees, to provide them with content, especially as part of their sales enablement activities, because many companies were sharing promotional content or storytelling elements for their salespeople to be able to spread the messages of the company in a better way, not just saying that's an amazing product, we're the best, etc., etc. All the things that in fact make people not to use any service or a product. So we will all need to find a replacement of the My Company tab, and the replacement of the My Company tab after November, when the feature will be sunsetted, should be not a different feature here on LinkedIn, but should be a little bit of changing the strategy. Page admins and marketing people from the companies will need to communicate with their peers from the companies on any other platform. There are, of course, separate platforms outside of LinkedIn who are dedicated to employee engagement, to brand ambassadorship, etc. So, for good or bad, you will need to search for such platforms and test them and choose whether you're willing to invest additional money from your marketing budgets to use such platforms. Or you should change, or let's say adapt your LinkedIn strategy to add content that will be easily shareable, likable, etc. From your employees. You should activate some other internal channels of communication to inform the employees when a new important content is available on the LinkedIn page of the company, so they can engage, they can share it. And unfortunately, the thing that I liked most about the My Company tab was that it basically eliminates the need of file sharing, of sending PDFs, images, etc., to the different people uh, from the company. So yeah, you should start using the email for this one, or of course Google Drive or um, some other sharing platform within your organizations. We've already started discussing internally what we will do about all of our partners, because for some of them, the My Company tab was in fact initial part of their communication strategy on LinkedIn, and we've worked for months and in some cases for years to inspire as many employees as possible to create thought leadership content for some of them, for the key representatives, and it works amazingly well. So this time, just a shortcut won't work. We'll need to adapt. I don't know, really, really hard.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I personally work together with some of our clients who really like the feature, who use it a lot, especially if they're going to events. And as Alex said, it really is, a great way to inspire your employees to, yeah, make content and promote your company, which is always good. But now, as we're just wrapping up, actually, we had a question, maybe inspired by Alex prompting. So it is from Denny, and it's actually regarding the video feed. So maybe we'll get to see Elena again. So Denny is asking, do you believe the new video feed feature is suitable for companies across all industries, regardless of their operational focus? And then she also tacks on, additionally, do you think it will be integrated with LinkedIn's algorithm to enhance a company's visibility and engagement? So, yeah, those are the two questions. And basically, what they revolve around is, what will this new video feed mean for companies? So, can all companies use it? What do you guys think?
I think that's something that you too can share your professional opinion about, because from my point of view, there's always this moment when you have to be careful about what you implement and how you implement it. So you allocate resources and try to understand what your company is about. So if it's not suitable, maybe it won't be suitable. And of course there's also this thing about that on LinkedIn you already have a lot of visual content, so this is very specific visual content. With these specific videos, you already have videos where you that enhance the post text, where you have some video, you have also of course the pictures. So you have to be, maybe you have to be discerning about if you want to add this. What about you? What do you think? Because that's my opinion as a graphic designer. So maybe as a marketer, marketers have different viewpoint about it. I don't hear you guys, sorry.
Okay, so I think this time around it is an issue with Alex Mike. So while he figures that one out, I will take over. He's giving me a no sign. But I would say, as you said, it's a new feature. So it's still not quite in the test phase, but different companies need to test it out for themselves. As a marketer, my honest opinion is, almost no matter what your company does, there is a way to do some kind of video content, even if it's just someone speaking in front of the camera and very briefly explaining things, or saying like, oh, we'll visit this and that expo. Of course, it's challenging. Of course, one of the most challenging things is, getting your employees engaged to make that video content, but it's definitely worth the try, and it's definitely worth being brave, especially in these initial stages, because the
Yeah.
more early you try out something, then, the better informed you'll be about how it interacts with your company. So, my advice in a nutshell is be brave, try it out, even if you think you won't be making brilliant things. Just do it for the sake of it and see what the actual results are, because you never know.
Yeah. Daria, by the way, mentioned something very important. That's something that I didn't mention. That's the early adopter advantage that the platform is still figuring out, the algorithm is still figuring out what's valuable, what's not, what's engaging. There are some anomalies that you don't see in other social media platforms. For example, you see videos that have a lot of views, although they don't have a lot of engagement, like comments and likes, etc. So if you are brave enough and you know that it's for you, or you have a vision about how you want to create this type of content, you just go for it. And or of course, find a professional that can do this for you. Of course, you can go to LinkedIn and you just see the professionals that already know what they're doing, and you see how engaging their posts is, and you can discern for yourself if that's right for you. So yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I remember that a couple of weeks ago, in fact, I think a couple of editions of the linked letter. For those of you who are not aware of the linked letter, it's a bi-weekly newsletter that we publish at the link blog, which is our English language blog dedicated to LinkedIn. So I'm switching to another scene, and when Microsoft published their business report for Q4, the financial 2024, they declared one third, meaning 34% increase in uploads year over year. Video content and content basically. So video is on the rise, and this is what will keep rising, and especially with the obviously the video feed uh, being rolled out globally right now. uh, this number, sorry, will continue to rise. And something that I noticed, of course, I'm really not sure whether it's globally representative, but the first step before introducing the separate LinkedIn feed was for the users to be able to scroll up or scroll down between videos when you launch a video, of course, on mobile. A video that pops up in your feed when you um, expand it to full screen. You can go up and down just like on TikTok, Instagram, etc. So those videos are currently from your connections or pages you follow. So it's not just personalized videos for you, but videos from sources you're currently following. Um, but the video feed, which is a separate icon, as Ellie mentioned before, a separate icon on your mobile app, LinkedIn. Uh, this here is a content that will probably be of interest of you. So LinkedIn keep tracking our behavior, our interests, of course, and probably some of those videos we will be able to see on the separate LinkedIn video feed will not just be related to something that we already follow, but will bring once again a huge viral potential depending on topics, depending on probably dwell time, the length of and the time that every member spends on a certain video. So be one of the early adopters. This is a key message that we uh, want you to have from today's meeting. Meeting? Yeah, streaming?
Streaming,
I don't know. I
maybe.
think it's time to wrap up.
Yeah, it is about time to wrap up. So, if you've listened to us on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, we're glad to have had you guys together with us for this 1 hour. And also, don't forget, while you may want to always see our beautiful faces, especially new additions like Ellie, we do have this purely in a podcast format, and it will soon be uploaded on Spotify if you'd like to listen, while you're commuting or while you're at the gym. Yep. So this was everything from us. This sadly not so sunny Friday morning, but we do hope your day got a little bit sunnier listening to us.
Bye, guys.